transport program and how we will shape that in behind the levy. All right. So I don't want to have that debate here at all today, and it's not appropriate to. We need to spend a bit of time, but not too much, on shaping that up for an appropriate discussion in committee. So if you can just have a look at that the Budget Committee recommends that the Chief Executive of Auckland Council and Auckland Transport review the Transport Program, view the feedback received during the consultation and report back to the Finance and Performance Committee, and I will be wanting to ensure that as quickly as possible. We don't need to put that there, but Mr. Chief Executive Officer, I know that you understand that. Now, I've taken on board the views of some who have taken the opportunity to chat to me quickly over lunch. We were probably being overly presumptive under item 2. So to broaden the scope of that discussion with government and to put that in the right context in terms of where we need to go through from here, obviously there are a couple of matters. The Minister, quite frankly, is talking to me about other views in terms of what other ways there might be to fund things. I guess what we are looking for is, one, an acceptance of the feedback from the community, but secondly, also some views that the government might want to have. So I think we need to be reasonably broad in our approach to the government. All right, so that then would give rise, I suspect, to further discussions down the track once those discussions will be had as to how we would deal with the outcome of those discussions. So hopefully that I would probably move that. Kathy, would you second?
I would love to second.
Right, very good. And so we got Penny W and who's second to Bill?
Bill.
Okay, so just looking at that there, so I hope that that will satisfy the directional issue.
Yeah.
So I'll put that. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
That's against passed. And then the Budget Committee reference, item 2, that should satisfy most people's concerns there in terms of ongoing discussion.
Yep. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councillor Chris.
Mr. Mayor, and thank you for that slight change. It's gone through that motion. I think it's straightforward. But I just want to draw your attention, I just mentioned this to you at lunchtime, the Greater Wellington Regional Council passed a motion last week, and that motion reads, agrees to approach Auckland Council to discuss a joint approach to the government on road pricing and demand management tools. So we've clearly got allies in this island. I don't think we need to amend anything here, but I would hope that we take, that probably hasn't come through to an organisation as yet, but clearly Wellington's facing similar problems to Auckland. Our scale might be grander, but I would hope that we can communicate with Greater Wellington and make possibly joint approaches to government on this.
Well, look, actually, the whole local government New Zealand is looking long and hard at what we're going through at the moment. And again, that's part of what Penny's doing, but look, anything collegial with Wellington is great. So we got that one there too. I think that covers off most people's concerns. So I'll put that. All those in favour say aye. Aye. It's against pass.
I had a question.
Oh, sorry. No.
It's too late. It's been carried.
Look,
I had a question.
it's the theory of it. Is we can have the question. Ask the question.
But, no, it's not. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. We move to item 3. Item 3. Okay, I think the best idea here is to deal with these by way...
Mr. Mayor, sorry, again it was through advice of officers, but I had a couple of local transport ones. I didn't think they'd be at the front of the agenda, but nonetheless I've been advised that's where they should go. They don't need much explaining, but I just don't want the opportunity for them to not be put. Tamaki Drive and Selwyn Station.
Actually, Councillor Cam, so the one that we that's going to go back into basically finance, strategy and finance for discussion in terms of the program that we've all unanimously just voted on. I think the bit, I mean, if if you want to put this up, I can get 20 hands going up around the room. And so I wonder whether the better place to do it will be when the report comes back in to Penny's committee, now that the budget is by and large in place. Please, because otherwise it's going to be really difficult.
Well, just speaking to that ruling, Mr Mayor, Councillor Lee asked whether there, a couple of days ago, whether there'd be the opportunity to put amendments, and you said, of course, Councillor Lee,
Yep.
democracy will play its role, and we all know the importance of different amendments and different local projects and the ability to get them in, or at least considered in a long-term plan, and that is what I'm attempting to do today. Is to highlight, again, I don't expect to speak on length. We've got Mark Thomas here from the Aoraki Local Board. The Tamaki Drive has no cost implications in this financial year. It's something that you've championed. And Selwyn Station, again, that is no cost there either. It's mainly the feasibility is underway, a report back to come to the Infrastructure Committee, and any possible considerations in the next annual plan. So they're two relatively benign amendments.
Nice.
And I know that you have supported some of them before, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, look, I have much too my.
These are not chocolate biscuits. This is vanilla.
Damn it.
Vanilla wine stuff. This is core
Councillor Camp,
business.
look, I actually recall you been able to marshal me into one or two positions in the past with regard to support of one or two projects locally. I don't want to take these, Councillor Camp, because actually they are just exactly what we're going to do in the Strategy and Finance Committee. All right, and as I say, I have a number of key projects that I would like to support. All right, and so that's not to say I'm not taking recommendations around a range of other stuff, and we will. But on this transport issue, I think we've got a pathway for it. And I don't see anyone around the room saying they don't agree with that.
You've got a pathway, but it's not for these two projects, and I'm asking for them to be seriously considered. I'd like them documented today. I've done it every annual plan, every LTP.
They will be considered.
Well, not in the long-term plan, as we know that.
I would have thought they would be considered.
Well,
but please, you know, I'd find it really difficult, even though if you put these into the Strategy and Finance Committee, I would be very keen to see them as a part of all the other priorities that the local boards roll up. And so, you know, I just don't think it's appropriate to open the floodgates on transport just after we've had a long, challenging discussion about whether or not we even get funding. Now we are in a position where we are committed to it. We then need to have a reasonably decent discussion about the priorities around that, and this would form a part of that, I'm sure.
Mr Mayor, I hear what you're saying about the Strategy and Finance Committee's work, and given that, I then amend this to say that that these recommendations be put to the Strategy and Finance Committee for further consideration.
I'm happy to second that, Mr Chairman.
So that's where you want them considered, and that's what this directs.
Yeah, look, okay, yeah.
And I've found a way through.
Yeah, you most, yeah.
And Penlink.
That's right.
So are we able to do that?
Yeah.
That's
No, hang on. We've all got a co-pupper. This is just going off to the committee. All right. So for it's now on the public record. If you're pleased with that, you do need a seconder, Councillor.
Oh yes, I think Councillor
Chris.
Fletcher.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, look, we can very quickly deal with this. Okay, it's going to go off to that committee for further consideration. So I'll move that. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, passed. Thank you. Right, now Councillor Chris.
I was just a little bit troubled. It's not an opportunity for every councillor to raise his parochial project.
Councillor Chris, do you understood?
Well, I don't know.
I understood it.
Yep.
I understand it, but I thought we all understood it.
No,
So
LTP.
all that's happened, hang on, all that's happened here is it's just gone to that committee to be a part of everyone else's concerns.
It's been noted.
It's got no precedence, no nothing. Councillor Brewer can tell his good constituents at Aoraki that it got noted.
That he voted against the levy and
Okay.
got two.
Now, I don't want to waste any more time on it.
It's a good outcome.
Mr Chairman, there's a principle here though, that I was happy to second this because both of these projects are those that have regional significance, and that is in the same light that Councillor Casey and I are going to later look at the Manukau Harbour and the proposed walkway.
Okay.
Where there are regional issues,
Yep.
then I appreciate the opportunity that we can actually just put them to the Finance Committee.
Yeah, no, the only reason why I'm not dealing with this here now is because we got a way on transport. We got a way forward on transport, and that way forward will be for specific issues to be dealt with at strategy and finance. All right, now for the rest of the budget, I want us to, now,
Just a question, Your Worship.
yeah, so let's just, so what I'm wanting to do here is that we're now going to go into basically the balance of the budget. And I'm going to go through pages 58, 59, 60, 61, blah-de-blah, blah, all right? Now, that's the way I want to do it. Now, there may be extra proposed ideas, and I want to deal with those at the end of this. I want to bundle them up and deal with them all at the end. If someone is proposing amendment to what's going on in here, then we can have that debate. Otherwise, my thinking was that we should just deal with each one of these. If no one's speaking, we'll just move it.
Yep.
All right? I think that will give a reasonable shape to the discussion going forward. And as I say, if in going in any one of these Auckland development, economic, culture, environment, if something comes up, we'll add that to a list and deal with them specifically as a final clause in the agenda item. Okay?
Yeah, fine, I'm just want to ask a clarification question around the Tamaki Drive where Auckland Transport was directed to put in 2.6 million to CapEx.
No.
So, well, I'm just saying, that's what
So
I read up there.
That's a scenario.
That request will
I-
go
I-
to strategy and finance and will sit in beside all of your favourite projects equally.
I've saved my speech.
It's only what I read up there, and
Yeah.
that's why I sought the clarification around the recommendation.
No, there's no indication of
Okay.
support or otherwise.
Thank you.
Yeah, and sorry, Mr
John
Mayor,
Watts?
that's going to pick up
Scott,
all the
yeah.
projects we
It's up,
have, like
the whole lot.
Penlink and the...
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
yep, it'll be a very busy agenda. Okay, Councillor Ross?
My turn.
What if we have a project that's a crossover between the council and Auckland Transport, and we're all into our walkways, but the Flow Coastal Walkway, to be quite honest, to access NZTA money, which on their budget is looking at half the cost almost, which is 14 million out of 28, there needs to be some leverage from the council having some skin in the game, because they're going to end up getting an asset worth 30 million, and it's been proposed they only put in 6 million. So how do we have that crossover? Because it's not just, it can't just be dealt with at transport.
No. I think if we're looking at that budget, that might be something that we consider as a clause at the end. So if you'd like to sort of draw something up for our consideration.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's start with 3. And we've got now, there's